It is Wednesday. It is BRAP. We are live. It is for the love of gaming. We have Mav here with us, and the force is strong with him. Let's go ahead and kick off the show right now. All right. Welcome back, everyone. It is BRAP time. And we have a special guest with us this evening. First-time guest. We have Mav from Fun Speculation. Mav, welcome to BRAP, sir. Glad you could make it out this week. We tried to get you on last week. Couldn't get you on, but happy to have you here, man. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, sorry last week. I just had stuff going on. But, dude, I'm super happy to be here. Thanks for allowing me to delay that by a week. I'm happy to be here also with Slow-Mo. Had the chance to talk to him on another podcast once. So you sent the topics. We got some good stuff to talk about. This has been something I've been looking forward to all week, man. So let's get it going. Let's have some fun.
Absolutely. I got to say, man, that video of you landing that jetliner in the ocean. That's where the force reference comes from, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was thinking Luke Skywalker, pulled up X-Wing out of the water. I used the force to pull a Captain Sully because if you look, like you pointed out, the landing gear wasn't sinking into the water. I was sitting there floating on top. It had to be the force. And that's what made it happen. I am strong with the force.
It had to be because I was like watching the video. I'm like, okay, wait for it. Wait a minute, it's not sinking. What's going on? Yep. I'm like, it's got to be the force. So, no, Mav, it's great to have you on, man. And we have my man Slow-Mo Backslap, the man with many backslaps, the man who, if you're looking for a good first-person shooter and you're on the fence, you need to follow this gentleman here because he's got great taste, exquisite taste when it comes to FPSs. Slow-Mo, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I will actually try to expand that. I know I don't want to pat my own back too much, but I think I've got my track record on game recommendations has been pretty impeccable this year. I mean, I actually was talking to bigly. It's not the right word, but I'm gonna go with it. Very bigly. I was talking very bigly about Death's Door. But back when they first showed that ID at Xbox, Death's Door was one of the games I was that game is going to hit when it comes out. And I'm just saying, normally I got my finger on the pulse, so it is what it is. But no, I'm glad to be back.
You're so modest, Slow-Mo.
I'm trying to be more humble. I fail 90% of the time, but I'm trying. But I'm glad to be back. I feel like I've missed the past two shows, right? I was on vacation 2 weeks ago, and then last week I got sick. So glad to be here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot that you were in the last 2 weeks. Man, it's great to have you back.
Yeah, man. I was looking forward to this last week, and I was saying I don't know what I ate, but whatever it was. It was some bad news going on internally for the rest of the night, and I just couldn't do it. So I was but my bad on that. But yeah,
was it McDonald's?
No. This what was it?
Chipotle.
It was something Italian. We had got some food.
Oh, don't tell me you went to Olive Garden.
No, I said Italian.
Hey, now Olive Garden is its own thing, but it's still okay. It's okay.
I tell you what, the unlimited breadsticks is the only reason why I ever go to Olive Garden. I can stuff my face with bread.
Olive Garden in years, actually. So maybe their menu has changed. Maybe they gotten better. I don't know, but no, it was definitely something Italian. I can't remember the place. It was the local spot, but a local restaurant. But I at least I think that was the cause of it. Regardless, I'm a lot better now, and I'm ready to get into these topics. Let's do it, man.
First of all, Mav, I got to disagree with Caitlin's comment here. Olive Garden's the GOAT.
She loves
Olive Garden.
She loves Olive Garden. She loves her fettuccine Alfredo,
but not Olive Garden.
Yeah, she likes it. You know, I can't argue with the missus. You know,
I never argue with the missus.
Yeah,
look, you're lucky that your wife knows where she wants to go when she says like,
there
let's
you go
out for dinner. Yeah, because typically the answer is I don't know where I want to go. Where do you want to go? I don't want to go there. Like those are the string of responses you get.
Yeah, I hear you, Slimmo. Oh, I've been there already. I'm tired of that place. I'm like, oh, but you loved it last week. How are you tired of it? It's only been a week. So anyhow, I feel your pain, Slimmo. But yeah, so so you weren't here, Slimmo. And I know it's not an official topic, but I know I'm the only one on the panel here that didn't play the Halo Infinite beta, but I did watch a lot of the streaming videos, and watched a lot of YouTube or podcasts where people were giving their feedback on Halo Infinite, and it sounds like everyone's really excited about the Halo Infinite multiplayer. Sounds like maybe I almost said Bungie, maybe 343i is, but I didn't think Halo 5's multiplayer was bad. I thought that was that was good. That was like, it was good. That was a strong, that was a strong point of the game. But it sounds like they've done a really good job with Halo Infinite's multiplayer then.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we can't speak on the campaign because we haven't seen anything of it, and we're not going to talk about any kind of stuff that leaks out there. Yeah, like that's ridiculous that people are doing that. But the multiplayer, it's fun. I think it was a smart move for them to make it free. That kind of removes a barrier for some people who would be on the fence of trying it out to actually give it a shot. And the feel of it, some of the choices they made with getting rid of things that were in Guardians, like the Spartan charge, the ground pound, the thruster dodging, that stuff is gone. It's more traditional Halo, but still has some quality of life improvements that you would expect from a current first-person shooter, like sprinting. But it's not too fast, but it's still faster than old school Halo. And you do have ADS, but you can be knocked out of it by if you get hit by fire. So I think that's kind of a good balance to have there all around. And I enjoyed my time with it. It's I played it every single day that it was available. I played all the bot classes. They're bots. So, I didn't care if it was Marine, ODST, Spartan. They got that work. All three classes got that work. They weren't a challenge. Now, when they did that 3-hour period of actual PvP, it's pretty sweaty. It was just pretty good. My first match, I was like, man, they don't want to see the brother. They don't want to see slow-mo. 24 kills, 10 deaths. What's up?
Running riot.
Who want this, right? Very next match, they wanted it. Very next match, I got smashed.
Were you getting a lot of those double kills? Were you getting all of that?
Yeah. I mean, look, I was. And this is typical. It's quintessential Halo, where you'll have your matches where and this is very much old school Halo as well. It's about map control. It's about getting the power weapons, making sure that you know when they're live, and your AI, which is cool that your AI will tell you power weapons coming back online soon. Kind of give you the warning that hey, look out for this because they're coming back. And I mean, like the times that I lost, it was typically because someone grabbed the rocket launcher and went ham, or someone got the sniper rifle and they were pretty good. We were able to play with 3 maps: Bazaar, Recharge, and Live Fire.
Mm-hmm.
I like Live Fire and Recharge. I don't care too much for Bazaar. I thought Bazaar had too many, for such a small map, too many areas of camping. I couldn't stand that. I was getting camped like crazy in Bazaar. I mean, you could probably tell I wasn't as successful in Bazaar as it was on the other map. But overall, I think the feel of the gameplay is good. I feel like this is probably the best 343 gunplay that they've done so far, based off of what I played so far, and I can't wait to get into the other flights and do more. Like I do expect the next flight they do, which will probably be coming out before the game launches, to have no bots, no academy, but probably a lot of like big team battle or something else that they want to test out to get the bugs ironed out on that we're going to have in multiplayer. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully that will be what we get soon. I'm hoping for September, but potentially could be sooner or later. Who knows? But I know I've been rambling a lot here about this, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
That's good, man. I want to welcome B Money. What's up, B?
What's going on, fellas?
Great to see you here, man. Hey, I love the Chicago Bulls representation. I feel like last time you were on camera, you also had the Bulls hat too. So
most definitely. You will always see it when we're on cam, man. I have about 50 of these Bulls hats, so you might see a different one every time, man.
One for every day of the week and then some, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, no doubt. B, I want to get back to you. I don't know if you play the Halo Infinite beta, but I do want to go to Matt, our special guest here, Mav. I know you played it, Mav. What do you think? I mean, how does this? It's again, from what I saw, a lot of people were really impressed with this beta. You kind of agree with everyone else that, like Slomo said, this is the gunplay is really good. It's not too fast. They got rid of some of those gimmick things that they had with in Halo 5, which I think you mentioned once, some of that ground and pound. I didn't like that at all in Halo. What were your thoughts on Mav? Like, did they knock it out of the park for you in the beta?
Oh, dude. Yeah, man. It was. I had high expectations just because everything I've been reading and kind of seeing from them, but I felt like 343 had kind of taken Halo before down a different direction with the multiplayer. Listen to too many people. It needs to be more like this. It needs to be more like that. And they started implementing all these different things. Like they started implementing the loadouts, and then they took the power weapons off the middle of the map and all that stuff. And then the maps are bigger because they had to have faster sprint in there, and they had all these different things. The sprint was like when you stop sprinting, you're a sitting duck. Then you have the different abilities, and overall, Halo had kind of had more to it, but it also had developed this cumbersome feel, right? Where you kind of felt like there was a little bit holding you back with freedom of movement as much, right? When all they needed to do was what they did with this game, is increase the movement speed. Give us that. If you hear my daughter, sorry, she's going crazy. They're playing Xbox in the room next door.
She playing Halo right now?
No, I wish. That means I would be
double
playing
Halo
kill. Right now. But yeah, the movement speed was just like elevated, right? So it kind of has that like base core gameplay, kind of like Slomo was talking about, that takes it back to the roots of Halo, going back to like 2 and 3, right? It kind of has that feel, but they implemented sprint, but not in a way that it's going to take away from the base gameplay, where the sprint is now just an option, and there's no bad penalty for stopping sprinting because you're not getting ever that much of an advantage for it in the first place, right? So it gives you that sensation of getting a little bit faster. You can get to places a little bit faster if you want to take the risk, because it does ping the radar when you do it.
Right.
But when you stop, you can shoot instantly. And that was the problem before. You're not a sitting duck, right? So you have the ability to always be able to shoot right away. And that's what they had taken away from Halo, and they brought that back. The other main takeaway was, or two main takeaways, was the weapons felt really good, right? They sounded really good too. Like the battle rifle didn't have that like clanky tin sound anymore to it. They nailed the sound design on the weapons.
Sure, yeah.
And the feeling of the weapons are back. It feels again like traditional Halo, less heavy, less cumbersome, more fast and fluid. And then the last thing is those 3 maps. I know Slomo wasn't a huge fan of Bazaar. For me personally, it was maybe my favorite of the 3, just because I like the design of the level with the kind of like the courtyard area in the middle, and you have the branching pathways on the outside.
It looks like old what's it called Old Mombasa, like the
it's
city
in
from Halo 2.
in New Mombasa.
New Mombasa. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, and it looks like that it is that city. But yeah, kind of a throwback.
And it like for me, the maps felt. This was my worst thing from Halo 4 and 5. Okay, was the maps. Okay, the maps they lost that traditional classic arena shooter style with the maps. You had a lot of different weird designs, and then there was a lot of reliance with Forge for the maps, even with matchmaking at the beginning of 5. With this one, already we only got 3 maps, and if this tells you anything, the first day we were only playing on one map, or the first day and a half, we were only playing on one map, and nobody was getting sick of it.
Yeah,
right.
Very true.
Nobody was getting sick of it. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this is a blast! This is great!" Everybody's talking about all the things they're discovering, and we're not even playing against each other. We're playing against bots, and people are having fun on these maps, right? So then they implemented the second map, and that was another good one. And then the third map, another good one. I feel like they nailed the map design to where they feel like classic Halo maps, where you could have put this in rotation on 2 or 3, and I would have still gotten that same gameplay feel that I got back then. So they nailed the maps, they nailed the guns, they nailed the movement. It feels like Halo again. It feels like what traditional Halo fans have wanted, instead of making it Call of Duty, instead of making it Battlefield. This is what a lot of people wanted, but they modernized it and did it in a good way. So that's my feelings on it, dude. I'm super excited.
That's awesome. That's a lot of that positive feedback that I heard from the beta. Everyone's like, okay, this is kind of like what you've been hoping for the last couple of years, kind of taking it back to, like I heard people compare it to like Halo 3 multiplayer, things like that. So B, did you get a chance to play the beta, B? I don't remember if you were selected or not, or
I was not, unfortunately. So I was not blessed to be able to play the game, but
I wasn't either, man.
Yeah, I got a chance.
Are you guys insiders?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Wow. That sucks.
And I'm an OG Xbox Live beta tester. I didn't even get in.
I knew that was coming out. So.
Yeah, right. Low hanging fruit, man. Yeah. So B, I mean, were you excited, B? I mean, about some of the things that you heard from the community about the beta then?
Yeah, I mean, everyone was saying it felt like, oh, Halo, and that's what I wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Halo 2, Halo 3 are my favorite games as far as the multiplayer is concerned. So just hearing that everybody's saying that it's kind of on that level got me excited. So hopefully, once the next flooding comes around, I'll get a chance to jump in there, get my feet wet. But
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it, man.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I am too. I hope I get to try this game before the release. Because again, a lot of the feedback that I was hearing from the community seemed very positive. And Slow-Mo, again, like I said earlier, man, I mean, I trust your opinions on FPSs. You've never led me down the wrong path when it comes to first person shooters. So to hear your feedback was I was like, okay, Slow-Mo is yeah, I know.
I mean, I was Splitgate. I wish it's I love the success for 1047 games with Splitgate. Yeah. I wish I could play the game. Like I can't play the game because it's like a 2-hour wait. Can't get into the servers. It's a 2-hour wait.
Servers. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Just the log in at this point. This is how big the game has got, and it's grew so fast that 1047, their database, the way their servers were set up, just were not prepared for this many people all trying to play it all at once. But I love the success, and I love seeing good games, get their roses, get that recognition, and I was playing Splitgate back in June before this all happened, and like first person shooter, I rotate for shooters all the time, so I'm always trying to find another one that does something a little different or does something unique. And Halo, going back to old school Halo, that makes it unique in this 2021 gaming environment, just because no one's really doing that now. Like Splitgate's kind of doing Splitgate's like Halo and Portals. But no one else is really doing it like that. Everyone is either trying to emulate Call of Duty or something else, or I don't know, third person perspective shooting kind of game. So
yeah, and this was a 2-month-old build too, guys. You know, like they went into this. The crazy thing was they went into this letting us know, like, if you watch the flight preview thing they had the day before, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they were saying, okay, guys, like this is a test flight. We know there's a long list of things we already have addressed that we know about. You can go look it up. And then also that, hey, we're not expecting like a whole lot. This is to test the servers, all this stuff. Like this was not meant to be like this huge beta open thing for our enjoyment, right? This was meant to really put strain. That's why they did the bots thing. They said it was to put extra strain on the servers because that creates more matches. Not only does it create more matches, the bots are being ran by the servers, right? So those are all the things they said, some of the decisions they made to do this. And I don't even know if they were expecting this kind of response, right? Like this kind of like overwhelming like feedback. So that's a positive thing because this has as much momentum as Halo had already received from the time that we saw it at E3. This had taken that and elevated it even more. So there's more momentum and ramp up of the hype for Infinite leading up to launch. So I think things are starting to click again with Halo, and you start to see positive articles out there again from games media. You see positive people that aren't even necessarily traditional Halo fans start talking positive about Halo again. And it's weird, man. We haven't really seen this since maybe Reach, right?
Right.
So it's pretty awesome turnaround that they're having right now.
Yeah, no, that's very encouraging for me because I've been kind of poo-poo on Halo for the since Halo 5. So, but I do want to move on to Activision Blizzard because that thing's still going on, right? They're facing a class action lawsuit, I think, from their investors, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull that back up. Actually,
there's from the state of California.
Yes, the state of California is suing them. Yeah, a particular department. I think it's the some kind of labor department in the state.
Yeah,
is doing it. Yeah.
No, actually,
it's been a 2-year investigation.
Because unless this is another one.
No, there's another one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's a second lawsuit.
There's a second class action lawsuit filed against the company by Activision Blizzard's investors.
Oof.
Yeah, right.
Wow. That's even getting worse, man. This
is
getting
probably
bad.
Why they're making the moves they've been making this past week.
That's exactly so.
Are coming after them now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're coming after them. I mean, they laid off one of the
president,
who was
Blizzard
the president. Blizzard president.
Yeah.
They laid off the global assistant HR manager, and I forget her name.
Fran Townsend, I think. They deleted their Twitter today, I think, or something.
Fran Townsend, I think, deleted her Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she deleted her
So I'm
Twitter.
not sure if is she still with them?
I think she's still with them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she is, but she did delete her. She did delete her Twitter account or something. Yeah.
Well, she was promoting an article that talks about how people shouldn't. What was it? It was not necessarily people shouldn't snitch, but what was it? People shouldn't be.
I don't remember, man.
I forgot the term they call it in the corporate world.
Whistleblowing.
Whistleblower.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she did say that. Yeah. So so they got rid of J. Allen
sexual
BRAP.
harassment in the house. We'll take care of it ourselves.
I know, right? Yeah.
It's such a bad take.
That's such a bad take.
That's been working for the past couple decades, right?
Yeah. Hey, we got it. We know how to handle ourselves. Yeah. I don't think so.
We don't need. Yeah, it's a terrible take. So it was J. Allen BRAP who actually stepped down as president of the studio. And he's been there for a while. He was behind like things like World of Warcraft, Overwatch. And then Jesse Meschuk, she served as Activision Senior Vice President for Global Human Resources. So those two individuals are gone. And now I guess they have co-presidents now.
Co-leaders. They didn't
co-leaders. I'm sorry,
president. Co-leader, which
that's very important.
With the abilities or powers or duties come with being a co-leader. Like I don't know what that means. They could be a cheerleader. They could be a figurehead. they could actually be doing the job, like jointly doing the job that the previous president is doing. We don't know. We don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and he's sharing this role with Jen O'Neill. So it's Jen O'Neill, Mike Ibarra, co-leaders of Blizzard Entertainment. It's like, okay, like what is that? Like that's, I mean, I don't, that's all there's been. I know Mike Ibarra, I think tweeted something out that we talked about, or I wasn't part of that discussion actually, but Slim, I know that you guys talked about this in the BRAP DM. But yeah, this is
I have no issue with Ybarra being given this role. I just thought it was weird seeing people in the comments to his tweet discussing it and thanking people for, you know, mentioning him or speaking to him. I thought it was weird seeing people like saying congrats. I'm like, this isn't like, he didn't get promoted off of the merits of his work. He got put into this position based off of a vacancy, based off of some really terrible things that have been alleged to be going on within this company. And he probably was specifically tapped. More probably a part of this has to do probably with the fact that maybe his character isn't like the character of the other people who were in leadership and allowed these things to continue on for years. But the bigger thing probably is the fact that he was not there when the majority of this stuff happened. So he's like this outside entity that's only been there for a couple years now, I think, and he's not attached to anything where, you know, the people internally, the employees who feel wronged, as well as the people externally and the investors feel like, I don't trust anybody who's been here for more than a decade, can look at him and say, okay, well, he may bring some stability and a new culture with him that would replace the foolishness that's been going on and permeating throughout this company as is. But it's seeing people go, congrats, all right. And I'm like, is this appropriate? Like, is this the time for that? I don't know. Yeah, you know, I could y'all keep it to a good luck, Mike, and I hope you can fix this shit show. Can we keep it to that? Like, people all got a laundry list of things they want. I want StarCraft 2. Can you do a remake? I'm like, bro,
make sure you bring StarCraft 2, Mike.
I'm like, how about he get rid of the Predators? Can we start there?
Start somewhere. That's step number one, right?
Wow.
Step on the checklist. Yeah,
and then we can talk about games. It's like people just immediately went to me. I want these are the games I want. What's up with Overwatch 2? Can you get Overwatch 2 out quicker? No. What he can get out quicker is probably these sexual harassing bastards. Maybe he can do that. You know, it's like, come on, man.
Mike's got an uphill battle. I mean, there's clearly a deficiency there at Activision Blizzard. There's just a bad culture. I mean, these things aren't, happening. I think these things aren't happening by accident. And, the leadership has allowed this stuff to go on for such a long time. And what I find interesting is that Bobby Kotick is still CEO. And it's like, how long does that last? Especially now with this lawsuit. Again, I don't know I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know everything behind, the lawsuit by the investors and what that potentially means for Bobby Kotick. But the guy's the CEO of Activision Blizzard. He's still there. I mean, is he part of the problem too? I'd be curious to see what he did or did not know. What was going on with the team there internally, and if he's aware of some of these, damning allegations of sexual harassment and discrimination. B, let me ask you a question, man. Do you think that this is going to come around to him where we find out maybe later on down the road that he knew more than he knew a lot and just figured, you know what, let the people below me, deal with it. It's not my problem. Or what do you think, man? Or was he totally, do you think maybe he was just totally removed from the situation?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say, like, with a CEO, I don't know, like, how involved he is in the daily business and, just the culture within those buildings. I know, like, companies that I work for, CEOs, they might come around once a year, and it may be different in the video game industry. But, there's a bunch of studios there and, at the end of the day, the CEOs usually are just working on, trying to improve the business, grow the business. You know what I mean? Cut down costs, things like that. So, he could have known more of what was going on in the buildings, but like I said, it's kind of hard to say if you don't really know, like if he's in there on a day to day.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, man. I mean, you're right. I mean, he could potentially maybe be removed from some of those things from an operational standpoint there in house, where maybe some of those other people are delegating some of these things. But he did say, look, he said it's imperative that they acknowledge all the perspectives and experiences, respect the feeling of those who have mistreated in any way. He said he's sorry that we did not provide the right empathy and understanding. But
because you have to think all this stuff has been going on for so long.
Yeah.
And if there was someone who was a whistleblower or, was going to the CEO saying like, yo, this is going on, and, there was no response, why didn't that person come out? You know what I mean? So it's like I said, it's kind of hard to say if he knew exactly what was going on.
But then another way that he could have found out is that this could have just went up the chain somehow. We do know they got rid of the head of HR, which I think is probably, a lot of people are probably seeing in bigger corporations that HR, you always heard the term that HR is not your friend. Exactly. HR is here for the company. They're here to protect the company, not to protect you. That's what they tell you, to make sure that you tell them what they want to hear. And then they, you put the target on your back sometimes when you do stuff like that.
Exactly.
It is, if they got rid of the head of HR and they and multiple reports here in this thing said things like HR was aware of certain things, then it could potentially be that maybe he got wind of this based off of, hey, an HR inquiry was made. But again, like B said, we don't know for certain what he knew. I think with this investigation, though, with the state of California, we're gonna find out how much he knew eventually at some point. It's going to come out. And but I mean, based off of these allegations, because we always gotta say legally is allegations, is not proven things that absolutely did happen. But based off these allegations, that a lot of the leadership at Blizzard specifically knew what was going on, and based off of videos that we've seen, had no problem with some of the comments made by people who have been accused.
Slobo, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, man. Are you referring to the video of the
it was a BlizzCon, like a BlizzCon 2011 or something like that?
Lady, where the lady comes up and asks a question about why your characters are so, female characters are
her question was, is it possible that we could get some she appreciated that they have for I think strong female characters, but could we get some that didn't look like they came out of a what did she call it, a catalog or something like that, or a lingerie catalog or something like that? And their response to her was extremely dismissive and kind of demeaning, and was just oh, what catalog do you want them to come out of?
Yeah, they pretty much just laughed in her face.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, pretty much. And they, it was pretty disrespectful. Yeah. But he was there. The president of Blizzard was there, and the panel, he joined in and all that.
Yeah, and the crowd, they could have totally kind of squashed the response of the crowd. The crowd was booing her.
Right.
They could have totally stepped in and said, hey, you know what? There's no reason to boo her here.
Exactly.
There's no reason
completely diffuse the entire situation if they took that kind of attack. But they I think they felt emboldened by the crowd booing to say, hey, we can.
It was almost
be real about how we feel. And
it was almost like they were. It was almost like they were like a wrestling stable in the WWE, and the fans are cheering them on. They're like, yeah,
Right.
And it's just you could see kind of the. I remember looking at her facial reaction to that response, and it was kind of like, damn, you could see
embarrassment.
It was embarrassment, and
yeah,
and the fact that people were booing, they could have just say, hey, you know what, it's a great question, don't, there's no need to boo, it's not cool. But the fact that they made light of it, and I think they even said, oh, what, because I think she said, so that she made a reference to Victoria's Secret's catalog or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, where did they say like what catalog should we get? Should we pick from
but
or something?
they didn't say. It wasn't them actually asking her which catalog would you like us to base our character designs off of. It was a clearly a sarcastic tone to it. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like whatever, lady. It's and when the main guy that has been accused of all this stuff was the main guy up there really kind of leading that, and then you see like the president, the former president of Blizzard, like laughing along with the rest of the panel, and then this is the guy that had the Cosby Suite deal thing going on, and then seeing all those guys come out and say, oh, it wasn't because Cosby was drugging women, it's because he wore ugly sweaters. Okay. like where in that room did you see an ugly sweater? like make it make sense, guy. Okay, like this does none of this makes sense. Like
they're all in the closet, just a ton of Bill Cosby sweaters just hanging in the closet.
right. And like that, you would name a suite after that. Like, come on, like this is sad. So it's just like the disrespect for their own community and the intelligence of their own community and how they've responded to things. It just kind of goes to show that, all these are allegations, but like this isn't being overblown. This is like stuff that really needs to be addressed, and a massive culture change needs to happen there. And so like you may ask, like, how can you change the culture of an entire company? Well, you're going to have to have accountability finally. You're going to have leadership in place that recognizes what the past has been, says that this is what the way things are going to be now.
Yeah.
And the key part of this is that because what's going to happen is that someone's going to test that, because this is the culture today as it was back in 2011. You get rid of some people, you have new people come in, you say, here's the culture now. Some dickhead's going to test that. He's going to make a comment. He's going to fondle a woman. He's going to do something that he shouldn't be doing. He's going to be staring at a woman lactating in the lactation room.
Oh
or something.
My God, slow-mo.
Like no, but that's in the story. Like they're just staring at women breastfeeding, like in the lactation room.
Well, I thought they it's the
NBA game.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just saying, like, what is happening here? Like, that's creepy. Like,
it is creepy, man. Yeah, so I would imagine the first person probably crosses the line there, considering everything that's happened. Their ass is probably gone immediately.
Right, and that's the culture change.
That's the culture change.
Yeah. That first person who crosses the line needs to be the example. No, there is no write-ups. There is no you're on probation.
Yeah, no, it's gone. Days. It's gone.
You
no tolerance.
Are an idiot for doing this after everything that's happened. You are freaking out of here. No, you don't get a letter of recommendation. No, you don't get a chance. You don't get a cardboard box to pack your stuff in. We will send your trash to you. Get the F out. That needs to be the response.
Yeah.
And if you have that kind of response, the rest of the dickheads that act like that will figure out, okay, well, I need to leave. Because I'm not going to change what I'm doing.
The response so far has been weak. And and that's part of the big problem. That's why this is getting worse, right? So the state would not take action without evidence, right? Yeah. Like, this is more serious than just somebody saying, oh, this happened, right? That they actually have to look at this. They do their own investigations. All of these things before they move forward with something this strong, right? And this is a big deal, okay? So there is serious change that needs to happen. And their first responses was dismissive, right? From multiple people. And when I think about this, because there's a similar situation that happened with my team, the Mavs, right, a few years back, okay, and there was a guy that was in charge of the operations, not the basketball side, but all of the operations outside the businesses, like the HR, the marketing, all these things, right? Yeah. Front office stuff. And he reported directly to Mark Cuban. Okay. Mark Cuban was always more interested in the basketball stuff, right? He always hung over there, and then figured everything's okay because his guy is telling him everything's good, reporting back to him everything's good. Well, it turns out this guy was the problem, right? So all of these things had kind of flown under the radar and lasted for years because the guy that was feeding the information to the owner of the team was the bad seed. Okay, so you can have a whole system that is completely corrupt and flawed because the problem is too high to the top. Okay,
right.
and right now
that's the problem here, where the president was at the top. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What did the Mavs do? So the Mavs and Mark Cuban, he came out and he's like completely apologetic. He goes on TV, makes a live statement saying this is my fault, right? Like we're going to fix this. They do all these things. They make all these donations. They like completely let everybody go that had any kind of problem or anything. Clean house. They bring in a different person to completely run the company. He gave over the keys entirely to a lady named Cynthia Marshall, who is a no-nonsense individual who completely brought in completely different systems across the board to fix the issue. This all happened within 1 week.
Wow.
Okay? This all happened within 1 week. The Activision thing is how not to handle it, right? People are fighting for their wallets right now. People are fighting for, okay, well, how can I make this the best situation for me right now, right? Instead of thinking of the betterment of the company. And you got all these guys over there trying to protect themselves as opposed to make the tough decisions. Okay. When something like this happens and you're getting sued by the state for stuff that clearly they have evidence of, it's time for tough decisions. It's time to make difficult changes. It's not time to get defensive. It's not time to play. Well, is it like there's too much of this Me Too stuff going on? There's too much whistleblowing going on. No, they got evidence, right? This is real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is legit. It's already been decided that this is legit. They are technically allegations, but you see the stuff that's coming out already, right? And you see the reports of the evidence and the people coming forward and the evidence that we've even seen through screenshots and stuff like this going back
letters.
Letters.
And it's real.
Oh my God. Some of the letters, like, disgusting. Like, what is wrong with you people?
It's weird, man. And like
it was I don't mean to laugh, but it's so fucking out of, it's so like crazy. Like so you bring up those letters. I read those letters, I'm like, what is going on over there?
For people who don't have the context, there was a particular developer, I think he was one like the lead artist or he was director of art or something there, who was basically harassing a woman who had already turned him down, and he's writing her letters at some points of the letters actually threatening her current boyfriend at the time.
Jeez.
Yeah,
and like talking about how he's in love with her and he can't get over it, and oh, woe is him that she didn't want him. Like, are you serious, guy?
Stalker.
Like what are you, 12? Get over it. It's like it's crazy. But to Mav's point, like their initial response was absolute garbage, and it doesn't surprise me considering everything that we've heard about the company and all these out and all the statements coming out that this is their response. They insinuated in their initial response that, hey, well maybe we'll move our headquarters out of California. Like really, that is your, when you are confronted with your behavior is reprehensible and this stuff needs to change, because you cannot be employing people in the state of California and treating them like this. Okay, we'll go somewhere else. That's your response?
Where are we allowed to treat people like shit? We'll go there. You know, like,
that's pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much what they're saying. And by the way, gentlemen, this lawsuit that was filed today, U.S. District Court of Central California, on behalf of the investors of Activision Blizzard, alleges that Activision Blizzard intentional failure to disclose its ongoing problems with sexual harassment and discrimination artificially inflated the company's stock value. So basically what they're saying is, hey, had we known about these issues, we wouldn't have invested in your stock.
That's true.
But you weren't transparent. And that I think that's kind of similar to what the lawsuit against who was it? Oh God, I can't remember their names now. The cyberpunk people.
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, they were sued, and it's kind of like the same thing where, you knew that the game wasn't, had issues. You didn't disclose that, but I think
that this second lawsuit is specifically targeting the past 2 years where they knew they were under investigation by the state of California, but didn't disclose this to their investors, because they can say, any company, I think probably a ton of companies deal with some of these very same issues, maybe not to the severity that Blizzard has, but to some degree deals with this kind of stuff all the time. And I think you could probably find any woman and interview them and just say, yeah, I've dealt with this kind of stuff at X company, and it will be pretty common. But I think you will have to actually find something even stronger than just, hey, you had allegations and you didn't tell us, to be able to say that, to go forward with a lawsuit with it.
Yeah, and actually, I think to answer your question, Slow-Mo, the suit covers anyone who was traded in Activision Blizzard securities between August 4th, 2016, July 27th, 2021. Seeks damages based on the defendant's violation federal security laws by ensuing material false and misleading statements during the class action period. The suit not only names the corporate entity Activision Blizzard as a defendant, but also CEO Bobby Kotick, CFO Dennis Durkin, former CFO Spencer Newman, 3 executives who the suit states were instrumental in spreading of false information.
Remember a couple of years ago?
Go ahead, B.
When Quantic Dream was having the same issue,
mm-hmm.
and I said that this was gonna continue to happen. Like this goes on in so many companies, but it doesn't become a public thing until it starts to boil over. You know what I mean? So many times they slide it under the rug and try to fix it themselves or keep it undercover. But this is just too big, man. So now it's out.
Yeah, you're right. MVP, you're right. And this isn't. There's also Ubisoft that's had issues. Yeah. There's been allegations against Rockstar. And this thing is like I'm not seeing this story in just games media now. I'm seeing I guess regular media, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, regular news sites, Bloomberg because Jason Schreier, but like I've seen other general media sites run this story now about Activision Blizzard and wondering if this is a tipping point for the industry. And I wonder that too. Is this going to be something that is going to have an impact in a positive way, hopefully, in the gaming industry, where this stuff doesn't happen anymore, because it's just terrible. It's I keep thinking about that letter, Slow-Mo, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on in there? Like, where somebody felt that it was okay to write that letter. Like that's reading that, and then some of the responses, like the lady who deleted her Twitter account, who made, I think it was you, Mav, who said she made like a comment about whistleblowing or something that's not. Yeah. I mean, that's just, like, again, that just speaks to the culture. People believe the shit's okay, and it's not.
Yeah, based on the response is the word is like it just almost as bad as all the other stuff, because that's an acceptance of them, of the culture, right? So with them going forward and saying, hey, this is not this isn't real, or this is overblown, or all this means that the decision of who is in charge of the entire company needs to be made, right? Because they are ultimately in charge of the response, right? When everything blows over and something like this happens, it is a threat to your entire business, right? It is a major threat to your entire business. This is a serious thing. Those decisions and the response to things like this come from the top. And the response is all we need to know about who is in charge. Okay. And that permeates through the entire culture of the business. So personally, Kodak's got to go. Right? Like, I don't know how they can make that happen. But if he's the one that's in charge and the response is what it was, then things may never truly change. And in fact, the moves they made with Ibarra and I think it was Jen O'Neill, right? Making them co-leaders is an alarming move in itself, not only because of for the main reason is because they are not in the same position as the person that is leaving, right?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Right.
Hence, the person in charge now is not necessarily them. They are more going to have to answer to somebody else, right? Like they don't have the same power. Okay, so it's almost like an additional, like Slow-Mo, I think was saying this. It's like a power grab at Blizzard. It's almost like they are, instead of using this for the right thing and trying to get things right now, they're using it to actually influence more change at Blizzard to make them just another arm of Activision to create games how they see fit instead of having their own identity. Right. So
which is
scary.
what no one wants, because
no one wants.
I mean, to kind of take it back to the gaming side of things, people remember what Blizzard used to be like prior to being acquired by Activision, where they wouldn't release a game until it met their own seal of quality. And if the game didn't do that, they canceled it outright. Forget the game, it's done. It didn't meet what we thought was a quality game. It's out of here. And then as slowly after they got acquired by Activision, you started to see that level of quality start to erode. Now you see them as people who have left, the many people that have left Blizzard over the years speak about, they started to see Activision business people showing up in meetings with creatives where they're discussing how to design the game, and the creative is like, that sounds great, but how are we monetizing that? Like, that's not who you're doing here. That's not what we do. We're trying to make a game. We're trying to make the best game possible. You're trying to figure out how to make additional money off that initial sale. And it's like that difference, that drastic difference in how they make games is a clash that Blizzard was never going to win, because they own you. They own your company. Eventually, you're going to be doing things their way. And yeah, Bav, absolutely. I believe that they not only saw this as, man, we got to fix this. This is terrible. Oh, wow. I can't believe women are being treated like this. But hey, we've been trying to get more control over there. Here's the perfect opportunity to do so. And then they can kind of like PR this into where change had to happen, because the way they treat women over there was terrible. We changed the culture now. Just so happened, all the games are going to be pretty much like every other Activision game going forward. But flip side is, hey, at least women aren't being groped or having some weirdo crawling under their cubicle at work now. Like that's like they're going to try to make that the trade-off, which it really shouldn't be. And it just kind of goes to show the kind of people that you're dealing with here, where they really don't care about these issues. They can see it as an opportunity to further their own goals. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like B said, dollar signs, right, B?
Yep.
That's
all it's about, man.
Yeah.
Activision has always been about that.
Yep. Yeah. That's a great point, man.
Maybe they should take a year off COD, just like.
Yeah, right. Take a year off COD,
like,
and let it marinate and get your house in order.
Exactly. Let's take a break, reshuffle everything, kind of get things situated, make sure that we're going to be putting out a product that stands behind a good company. Right.
That's a great point, man. Great point, man.
Hold up. Take a year off COD?
Dude, We haven't heard anything. Dude, I know.
Make off a card every year.
I know, man. But hey, guess what? They're in some deep stuff right now, right? And
they would shoot their own mothers out of an airlock in space before they not release COD every year. I'm telling you, like, I know it's late. I think it's late. It's just late because they're like, man, if we reveal COD this year's COD right now. Oh, the shitstorm.
The backlash they'll get for doing that.
So they're trying to like find a way to put out this fire, then show COD, which they're running out of time.
Not enough time, man. There's not enough time.
But let me ask you guys something. Is there a right time to show COD at this point? Because I mean, I said this a week ago. I've been saying this 2 weeks ago. I think this thing's going to get worse before it gets better. I think we're going to hear more. Well, we have heard more things, like Slobo mentioned the letter. You know, there's a second lawsuit. I mean, so when
they need the response, they need to respond first properly. They still haven't responded properly yet. They're still playing. They're still hiding right now. They're hiding and sending out these little messages that are like half-assed. And then in fact, there's still half of them are still saying the wrong thing. Yeah. So until they actually come out with a unified decision and actually create action, because like I gave you the example of the Mavs thing, that was a huge story in sports, right? That, yeah. It was all anything talked about for about 2 weeks. It was everywhere, but it ended quickly because of the action that was taken. People saw that there was a response, right? There was a response, a resentment of themselves for what had happened. There was an apology. There was heavy action. Here, you have seen nothing really as far as major action, except for a couple of layoffs and a couple people leaving. As far as a clear plan of action, they have said nothing. They need to come up with a clear plan of action and implement it immediately that is going to make systematic changes throughout the entire culture of the company. And until they do that, this is going to continue because the people making the decisions are not wanting to make those changes because it's going to affect their wallet. So that's the problem. That's why however it's got to happen, I think they got to get together. They got to get Kodak out. They got to get somebody else that is willing to make those changes in place. After that happens, after you make those plans of action, after you put these things in place, then let's start talking about games. Right. Then let's start talking about Diablo. Let's start talking about Call of Duty, the things that we all get excited about. You know how much it sucks right now that I feel like I'm like weirded out by being excited for Diablo 2 Resurrected right now. It's like that was one of my most anticipated things. But now it's like, man, should I even play it? You know, should I buy it? Should I support this company? Because they're not taking the right response. If they had taken the right response, I feel like, okay, they're making those changes. It's a company that is making a change for the better, and it's a company that you are willing to potentially support again, right? But right now, it just doesn't feel that way, and so they got to get it. They got to get it right because right now, like this thing has gotten way worse than I thought. You know, way worse than I thought it was going to be.
The sad part is that there's not enough gamers who are going to think like that.
Well, yeah, you're right. There's you know how many people. You're right. So you're true, man, because when they release COD, how many people have no idea about any of this stuff going on?
Yep. The vast majority of people that play COD, basically.
You're right. You're right.
No idea that there's a lawsuit.
And it's going to be $70.
Yep. Yep. It sure will. And that money will be, hey, $70? That's all you want right now?
Full of microtransactions.
Yeah, full of microtransactions.
Drop it down. I still remember they charged $1 microtransaction for just the red dot on your for your reticle in Call of Duty.
I remember that, man.
For $1 for a red dot on the screen. Like they could monetize anything. They can monetize the periods at the end of the sentences from the subtitles. Like they don't care. So it's that Call of Duty is definitely going to come out at some point this year. They need to stop doing. They need to stop putting band-aids on top of gunshot wounds. And that's essentially what they've been doing so far. They've been just trying to pretty it up and make it the public feel that they have addressed this issue and it's no longer a problem going forward, without actually doing what you want the public to think that you're doing. Like there needs to be different kind of changes here. There needs to be wholesale changes here that would actually be doing the things that you claim that you're doing. And until we see that, I don't think anything's really going to change. Bobby Kotick, I mean, like he's throwing everybody he can under that bus. Besides himself, eventually he's going to run out of people to throw under the bus, and it's just going to be you left there, buddy. So you're going to have to figure this out and fall on your sword at some point, because wholesale changes in leadership is what is really going to get people thinking that some changes are really going to happen. The people who have been there for decades, been there for a long period of time, and allowed this issue to fester the way it has, those can't be the same people going around saying, we're going to change the culture.
Yeah,
that was unacceptable. It's not going to happen on my watch. Well, anymore, because it happened on my watch for decades, but not anymore. It's done now. I'm going to change everything that's happening here. Nobody wants to hear that from you. We want you to go and then hear that from somebody else who hasn't already proven that they were not doing that. So either you were incompetent and not knowing what was going on under your umbrella, or you were complicit. That's the two avenues that people are going to go with this. And the only acceptable way to get past this is to not have you there anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that would certainly be a bold statement on Activision's behalf to get the guy who I think a lot of people attribute to them being as successful as they are, and just saying, hey, you know what, it's time for you to go. I don't think that's going to happen, though, man, to be honest with you. But I do want to move. I do. Speaking of CEOs, I want to move on to another topic here. And by the way, everyone in the live chat, please hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Have over 100 people here watching. Appreciate the support as always. But yeah, please hit that like button. Or if you want to give us a thumbs down, whatever, that's fine, dude. It all contributes to the algorithm at the end of the day. So Take Two CEO Strauss. I'm going to butcher his last name. Selnick. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Strauss Zelnick.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
this
you.
guy.
That's my guy over there.
I love this guy. He's the most blunt executive there is.
He's real blunt,
man.
No, he has no chill whatsoever.
He has no filter. No filter.
None. Zero. What did he say now? I can't wait to hear it. I haven't heard
so
this yet.
He commented on. So it's interesting. The last 2 weeks we've had commentary about Game Pass. We got Sean Layden's commentary about Game Pass, where I still don't understand Sean's math, by the way, with his comments about Game Pass.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm like, you know, like what? Yeah, but Strauss, who B Money and Slimo and are a big fan of, apparently, basically made some commentary on Game Pass. He says it doesn't really make sense for frontline titles. He's talking about new games, and look, the one thing I'll say, he hasn't changed his tune when it comes to Game Pass. Like I think he's been he's been pretty consistent with his own views about Game Pass. He feels like, you know, subscription services make sense for like catalog games. And when he said that, I immediately thought of I forget what Ubi's subscription service is on PC, Slimo. It's like Ubisoft.
It's called Ubisoft Plus.
Ubisoft Plus. So I thought about that immediately, right? Because if you go to that, I subscribe to that too. You do get their games day and date, the new ones, but
you also get all the expansions. You get all of their old catalog, and then you also get, like, if there is any kind of, say, like smaller DLC or microtransaction kind of stuff, you get that stuff too. So you get everything basically for $15.
You do, yes. Yeah. But he's right. Like I immediately thought about the catalog of games that are there, like in that service, as well as EA. I forget what EA costs. Is it also EA
there
Plus
is
or something?
EA, it's now called EA Play.
EA Play, thank you. Yeah. So I thought about that. Like I immediately thought about, to an extent I agree with him there. Like the catalogs of games, it makes sense, right? But it's something he's been talking about for years. He questions if it's possible for developers, publishers, consumers alike to come out ahead with a service like this. And he says that I'm going to pull a quote here. Our reviews remain unchanged. We think a subscription model can make sense for a deep catalog of titles, but it doesn't really make sense for frontline titles. For any business model to make sense in the entertainment business, it has to work for the creators of the entertainment as well as the consumers of the entertainment. I don't know how much of I kind of agree with that, kind of don't. He says, I think catalogs can make sense for the publishers. I think catalog can make sense for the publishers. It can make sense for the consumers who are avid, who really want access to a lot of product. But if you're getting to frontline products, then the economics are much more difficult to make sense of. And he said this during their earnings call. He also said that consumption patterns for streaming services like Netflix, which offers more linear entertainment, which I never really thought of it from this perspective. We always hear about Game Pass being compared to the, or being called the Netflix of gaming. He's saying that the streaming services like Netflix offer more linear entertainment and are different from interactive entertainment. Now, we know Netflix is going to be getting into gaming. That's probably going to change for Netflix at some point. He said consumers who are involved with interactive entertainment have different consumption patterns than those involved with linear entertainment. And I thought this was a really interesting point here. He said linear entertainment consumers consume something like 150 hours of programming a month. That's probably well over 100 different titles. But he says in the case of interactive entertainment, consumers are consuming something like 45 hours a month. And that may be like 1 or 2, 3 or 4 titles, but it's certainly not 100 titles. So for a consumer point of view, it's not clear that a subscription model really makes sense for the bulk of consumers. Thought that was a very interesting point, that last piece about consumption. I've never thought of it like that before. I've never thought of, yeah, you're right. Like I do watch, tons of shit on Netflix and Disney Plus. But when it comes to gaming, I mean, like for me, like I'm not playing everything that's on Game Pass. Actually, I don't use Game Pass, and this is me. I don't use Game Pass a lot. I don't. I really have Game Pass for, stuff that may drop day and date, like more specifically Microsoft's first party. And then obviously, things like The Ascent, which dropped Game Pass day and date. I definitely picked that up. But I thought it was interesting that I never thought of that point where, yeah, to an extent, I think I would agree with him where, it may not make sense for somebody who only plays like 3 or 4 games, which automatically I think of B Money, your favorite game, NBA 2K, right? The people that are playing Call of Duty all the time, the people that are playing, I almost called them playing Bungie, but I mean playing Destiny. Those services may not make sense for those people, So Mav, I know I that was kind of a quick read through. What are your thoughts about his comments on Game Pass and subscription services and gaming?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's numbers out there that would necessarily correlate with what he's saying. Actually, even Sony, I think, was it yesterday or today, made a statement about MLB The Show in their earnings call, saying how much of a success it was for it going onto Xbox, and Game Pass is a huge part of that, right? So there can be, if not every publisher wants to bring their games to Game Pass day one, that's completely fine. Because one thing about the Take-Two games, and a lot of their big games are big games, right? And they're going to sell a crap ton anyway, right?
Yeah.
So if you're planning on releasing 2K or GTA,
Red
Dead, do you think there's any concern for them right now about how many copies they're going to sell or reaching players?
Right.
For them, it's like, okay, we can make $70, and then we're going to 3 months later increase the player base even more, right? So for them, I think that may make sense. Now, certain publishers and different developers may have different takes because it's allowing them to reach a lot more players and gives their game a chance to succeed where it hasn't before. Like for me personally, I'm always using Game Pass, right? Like it saves me a ton of money, but it also actually it frees up some of my wallet to where I actually buy other games that I wouldn't have necessarily bought otherwise because I was going to spend my money on something else, right? So that's happened several times this year. And I've seen games succeed that necessarily wouldn't have, and they've gone online and talked in articles and stuff where they've praised Game Pass for helping them achieve that. And not only that, but actually helping with the development cost and things like that for a lot of the games. But like 2K doesn't need that, right? You know, they don't need that for GTA. They don't need that for Red Dead. They don't need that for a lot of their games. So it doesn't surprise me that he has this take, but you know, we've seen other publishers that have games that they're not sure is going to sell 20 million copies like within the first 2 years, that say, okay, let's go ahead and try putting this game into Game Pass and see how it does. And I think it's up to the game. I think it's up to the publisher. And overall, does this diminish the value of Game Pass in any kind of way? No. They've actually brought their games into Game Pass pretty frequently. Take-Two has. So like we've had Red Dead in there. You've had NBA 2K in there. You know, so they're an advocate for it in just their own way, right? So, and I think it's bringing them money. So, but to contrast, like if you see a game like, the reason I was bringing up the show is because you could compare that to something like NBA 2K, right? Where that game launching day one and Game Pass didn't hurt it at all. In fact, they've actually seen a lot better numbers in sales, not only because it's on Xbox, but because of the people buying all the microtransactions and all of that stuff. And in fact, they've actually passed some of the other games, actually, is in an article, I think, on, I think I saw it in Games Rant or something like that, talking about how this is like the most successful MLB the show has ever been and all of these things, right? So it just depends on the game. It just depends on what works for them. And I think they would be okay either way. But if I even was the Take-Two CEO and I got GTA, or I got, you know, I'm saying, okay, I'm going to make the $70 or whatever because people are willing to pay it. You know, I don't agree with the $70 thing, but you know, they're going to sell tons of copies day one. It's not necessarily a concern for them.
Yeah, I mean, like they're not even really like, and B Money can probably back me up on this. The majority of 2K players aren't even buying the $70 version. They're buying the version that's higher, that comes with a little bit VC.
The $100. I'm buying the $100 version this year, but only because Dirk's on the cover. Yeah. This is the first year I'm getting the physical copy, Matt, dude.
You're part of the problem,
dude. I'm sorry, dude. I know, man. But like, I never buy the physical copy of the more expensive ones. But dude, I've been waiting for Dirk to be on the cover of 2K for 20 years, man. It's finally happening. Oh my god!
They was like, we'll get anybody. We'll get Mav. Watch this. Dirk is on the cover. Got him,
dude. They got me, bro.
But see, like they'll buy the $100 version, and then they'll go off, you know, separately and still buy a bunch of VC as well. They are a different kind of publisher because a lot of their bigger money makers don't rely on the same methods of gaining revenue that other publishers do.
Hey,
Ubisoft, EA, you know, they'll have games, or even Square Enix with like Outriders. They'll have smaller games that they aren't quite certain how it's going to turn out, and Square Enix makes the decision to put it in Game Pass at launch to see. You know, it turned out that worked out well for them, even though the game was a buggy mess. And don't let me get started on that. But still, like that, Take-Two, 2K, they don't make games like that no more. They're not making the Outriders. No, Private Division. They'll let Private Division finance some little indie something. You know, and they'll give it a little budget. They don't care that for them. That's a project. That's charity. We're being nice. Their money Red Dead, GTA, 2K never will launch in something like Game Pass. Borderlands will never launch in something like Game Pass. And about Borderlands, not only will they, this is how much of a boss they are when it comes to money. Now, listen, like I don't agree with their CEO and everything. I just like how blunt he is and how he speaks.
You talking about Randy Pitchford? Or are you talking about
not Randy? I can't stand Randy.
Oh, I was like Randy. You like Randy? I'm like, wait a minute.
I can't.
Did I miss something?
stand Randy Pitchford. Let me be clear.
You talking about the cocaine cowboy? I shouldn't call him that.
Cocaine cowboy.
That guy. Come on, Slomo. That guy looks like he's,
Yeah, he does. He looks like he rides the cloud every single day. But look, what I'm saying about Strauss is that I like how blunt he is, because exactly he's just being real. It's like, we don't need that because we make so much money that it doesn't matter. We don't need to take chances like that as far as they're concerned. Even what was I going to say about Borderlands was that very recently we found out that they were going to do cross-play and cross-progression.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, awesome, yes, cross-progression, right? And then we found out that wasn't going to go for PlayStation because that little tax that Sony has for cross-play, they're like, we ain't doing that. We ain't giving you no money for what? What we giving you money for? No, I won't. Look, they have the balls to do that, because other publishers will be like, man, but we really need that PlayStation base. That's like 50% at least of our consistent community for this game. We need to get, if we're going to have crossplay, we need to have them involved. Okay, pay the tax. Take-Two was like, it'll be a cold day in hell before I pay that tax. They don't need anybody, so they're so different than everyone else. Think about how all the things that we don't like, who's the first person to start the $70 thing? Take-Two.
Yeah,
Take-Two, man.
It's Take-Two, Activision, and Sony are the main ones right now, right? And it's Sony, like, as much as I go against the $70 thing because I don't like it, I don't think it's necessary. Like, Activision and Take-Two are like the worst offenders with that, because their games are filled with microtransactions, right? So not only are you charging the $70, but the $70 is just access to another storefront, right? Like, please let me spend $70 so I can access Ultimate Team and spend $70 every weekend to buy my bundle. Thank you for that. Like, so Activision and Take-Two are. It's pretty crazy what they get away with that, but like, the dude is, it's pretty.
Matt,
You're always saying,
but you just spent $100 on a.
That's a one-time thing. I've never. And in fact, actually, this past year was the first year I didn't buy 2K day one, and it was because they wanted that $70 for the next gen or $100 for both versions, and I bought every single 2K game, right? Day one, every single one, and I was just like, "Are you freaking serious?" Like, they're gonna pay $10 extra for that, or $100 for both versions and stuff. So I waited. I play it now, but I get the Microsoft store screwed up and had it on sale for like $10 or something one time. So I got it, and I got the next gen version that way. But as far as this next year, it's solely for Dirk. Okay, I get a pass for Dirk. That's it.
What if next year they come out with the, I don't know, Jimmy Jackson,
the Jason Kidd version?
Oh, if they had the 3 J's, like the Mashburn, Jackson, and Kidd, they getting my money again too. 100%, dude. I will vote with my wallet, but if like some things I can't. You know what I mean? Like Sports, Battlefield, I'm day one on it, and it's $70.
Has a price. I always say
right.
The $1 million man said it.
Like, I'm not paying $70. Oh, for that, I'll pay money for that. Look, I'm like that. Actually, I've always kind of felt this way, is that, prices, value is subjective. So, like, I don't like sports games anymore like that. I used to love fighting games. I can't stand them now. I don't care. It could be the best fighting game in the world. I'm not spending $1 on it because I don't want to play it. But if Square Enix said we're doing a Chrono Trigger remake, dude, name the price. Just name it. Name a number. Put a number out there.
Would you pay $100 for it?
Shit, I'm getting a bargain. Like, that's a bargain to me. $100. I mean, they could go higher if they wanted to. Don't tell them that. I don't want to pay it, but I will pay it. And everything has a price. It all depends on what the IP is, what genres they love. and if that nostalgia factor hits them right in the feels. I was like that with Final Fantasy VII Remake. It didn't matter what price that was. Whatever the price is, I will pay it. And when it comes out on PC, guess what I'm gonna do? Double dip. When it comes out on Xbox in like 2025, guess what I'm gonna do? Triple dip. Like it is what it is. I can't help myself. I love that game. And some, these publishers, they know what their guaranteed gold mines are, and they can just name their price, and you're going to complain about it, and you're going to say, you're going to gnash your teeth and yell and go on Twitter and make a bunch of tweets saying this is bullshit and how dare you. But when that game launches, what you going to do?
It depends on the game. Yeah. I'm going to get it. Battlefield. I hate that it's $70.
That's why I don't even get mad, Slow Mo. When it's stuff that I know that I like, whatever the price, man. I'm there.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if we talk about it, though, right? Like, they're immediately. I remember when they announced $70 the first time, right? Activision, right? For Call of Duty. And all of a sudden, there's a lot of people, oh, it's time. Inflation. Things go up. It's okay. It's time. Everything else has gone up. Video games have been the same price for this amount of years, whatever. You know what else has gone up is the profits. The profits of all the video game publishers had just released all their earnings reports that had gone up 50%. Some of them doubled, right? But then they're saying they have to increase the price of their games by $10, and then you see the ones that are doing it are the major publishers that also are heavy into the microtransactions, like Activision and Take-Two, right? Other publishers and other developers and stuff have not done that yet because they didn't see the need to, and in fact, they don't need to. They are doing it because they can. And why can they? Because we want the games. So yes, I will say, like, hey, I think it's stupid. There's no reason for it. Like, why say that it's okay? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you're right. They got me with certain stuff. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to not play Battlefield because of $10. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Matt, it's also because these executives, who make these decisions. They are evaluated on a year-over-year basis. So last year they broke records. We've never made this much money before. Hallelujah. We did a great job.
They made it cleaning the pandemic.
But then the following year, they got to beat that. They're not being measured on how profitable are you, because that's the way we look at it, not on the outside looking in. Internally, they're looked at like, okay, well, this time last year, you made this amount of money.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the earnings reports are coming out now, and they're all up again. Yeah, you know what I mean?
But they want a certain percentage higher than what they did the year before. How do you do that? They're like, well, we're doing everything that we think we could do. Like, we got the same kind of games coming out. As far as Take-Two is concerned, we got our microtransactions are kicking it out there. We got the same GTA stupid guys buying to get same game over and over again 20 times a month. We got the 2K people in line for that VC. We got all the stuff set. What else can we do? Oh, well, we could just raise the base price $10.
Well,
that's what I don't like. That's what I'm saying.
I understand your side of it. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying this is why they do what they do, because they want to easily meet their target goals so that they could go to their investors and say, hey, look what we did. Look what we did for you. We beat our projections last year during the pandemic when everyone was at home and they had nothing to do but play our damn games all the time. And we still beat that. And it doesn't matter how they do it, but this is how they reach those target goals that they told their investors that they would reach.
Yeah.
I used to work for this big time billion dollar corporation. I'm not going to say their name, but just real quick. I remember hearing our CEO say stuff that I knew was impossible. He would tell investors, this quarter, we're going to slash expenses 30%. Everybody like, how? We need that. We need that to do work. And then what ends up happening? Halfway through the quarter, everybody, your credit cards are turned off. Company credit cards are turned off. We do not use this. Instead, tell customers we don't have whatever. And I'm just like, why are we shortchanging ourselves just so that the CEO doesn't look dumb in front of the investors? He said something he should have said that we couldn't do. And now we have to prove him right somehow. They don't know how we made that, but that's how we made it, by shortchanging the customers and making our job harder. They're going to figure a way to get investors to continue to keep investing in the company when they make certain promises and make sure they deliver. And so when it all comes down to it, they can't say, oh, you know, we made all this profit, but it's less money than we made last year. They can't say that.
Why do you think all the big companies have bought other big developers? Like EA just bought Codemasters.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they did that is so that they can have a higher output of games every year. They got a slew of racers that they can now release, whether it's a set of Corsa, the F1 games, Grid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To go along with Need for Speed. So there's a reason why they go out and make those purchases. 2K went and bought the golf club, and now it's, you know, PGA 2K. You know what I mean? So that's how they add on to that profit every year, is, you know, bringing in you know, these developers, being able to put out more games per year, more microtransactions per year, and that's how they reach those target goals.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, we were just talking about Activision, and wasn't it not too long ago when Activision came out and said we hit record revenue numbers, record profit numbers, and then the day before they had laid off like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
So like that's before an earnings call. You lay off 1,000 people, then talk about how much money you made, how much profit you made. Well, of course you did, because you just slashed a whole bunch of expenses. A whole bunch of people's salaries and medical benefits that you had to pay is no longer having to be paid. You're cooking the books essentially, even though you're playing with people's lives. But the books now look great because you no longer have to have all of these expenses to pay. It's messed up, but this is what they do. This business, unfortunately, and we get the short end of the stick.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say real quick too is I understand the like I get that. You know, profits have gone up too, but I think it's also fair to mention that the cost of development's gone up too, for especially these big AAA games. I think it's one of the things Sean Laney was talking about, and I think he even said this earlier after his departure from Sony, that maybe that, you know, those big AAA games, that maybe model wasn't sustainable because the cost was so expensive. Like, I think The Last of Us cost what, $200 million for Sony. You know, Halo
part two did?
Yeah, part 2, yeah.
And I've said this before, Enrique, I could just, like, to your point there too, like I could justify it more from like Sony's perspective, because things like God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Returnal, like different games that they're putting out aren't filled with microtransactions and stuff, right? They're okay, you buy the game, you play it, and then that's pretty much going to be it, right? So if their development costs are going up with something like that, I could make a case for that, but not something that they keep like monetizing out the ass like 2K, right? And
except when it's Dirk Nowitzki, then it's
except when it's Dirk. I am going to, you know, except when it's right now. I was gonna buy an NBA anyway, right? Like,
yeah.
This past year though, I waited because the $100 thing with the 2 versions is what really set it apart.
Yeah,
that's even different because I wanted to play it right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. And then I didn't want to do the $100 thing, you know, to play. I didn't care about who was on the cover of the last, you know what I mean? Like, this is Dirk, right? This is different. And in fact, I'm even getting the physical. I never buy physical. I'm getting physical on this one just because I want the box, you know, like it's not important to me. That's why my name, that's why the name's Mav. Okay. So.
Yeah. You know, but you know, we also, I think consumers, we also set the market. Like, you know, we're out buying the GTAs. I mean, like one of the things that we talked about GTA 5, you know, we've been saying this for years on this show, is that you know, and I don't know if it's not charting top 10 MPD anymore. I don't think, right?
No, but it's still in the top 20.
Yeah. Okay, but remember, it was selling because it was cheaper for people to buy the copy and get, I think, the VC or the shark card, whatever it was.
Yeah,
right.
You get some like
the bonus shark cards.
VC, bonus shark cards or something just by buying the game, and it was cheaper doing that at whatever like cheap cost the game is now. It being 2 generations old, was it $20 or something like that, $20-$30, whatever. Than actually buying shark cards, so it was cheaper to do that. So that's why the game is always charting. It's being rebought by the same people over and over again.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I think this kind of, and I was thinking about the Sean Layden article, and you know, the company he's with now is really focused on the metaverse. I think we've heard about Facebook, the metaverse, Web 2.0. You know, if you've seen the movie, what is it, Ready Player One? Mm-hmm. That's essentially what Facebook and Epic think that is the next frontier, if you will, that metaverse where
it was called the Oasis. Is that what they called it?
They called it the Oasis. Yeah. That's kind of what Facebook, Epic is and Epic's
the movie though.
And Epic's maybe beat Facebook to the punch because you look like something like and maybe even Take-Two with Grand Theft Auto. You think about the world of Grand Theft Auto, right? People buy clothes. They have like this online image footprint, right? That's essentially what they were doing in Ready Player One and the Oasis. And that's kind of where I think in some sense, like we think about Game Pass, and I got to call out my man OBM, who's not here right now, but he said to me something to the effect that, because I did send him this article, and he said to me, paradigm shifts pose a risk to the kings of the old paradigm. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I agree with that, because I think in some ways Take-Two they don't necessarily, like we talked about, need a Game Pass right away. And if we think about things in the perspective, I think of this metaverse that companies are investing, apparently a lot of venture VC money's going to the metaverse, as it being played as the next big thing. But these companies could take these games and kind of head that direction and make a boatload of money doing that, and don't necessarily, like, I don't think what OBM is saying, and OBM, I'm not trying to call you out here. I thought you brought up a very interesting point. I don't think necessarily that that Game Pass is this big. I think it's obviously a paradigm shift in the sense that we haven't had a subscription service like this on consoles. But I don't think it's going to necessarily impact Take-Two or some of these other publishers that the way I think some people think that it's going to, because I see it on Twitter all the time. If it's not on Game Pass, or if it's not, Game Pass is the future. I think Game Pass is one piece of the future to a very big billion-dollar industry. I think what we're going to see is just multiple ways, and we're seeing it now, to consume entertainment, whether it's in things like Game Pass, whether it's in this metaverse, whenever that happens. And I don't think that's going to happen. I could be wrong, but I could be 70 years old. My kids are walking around with VR headsets like that kid in that movie, right? Which would kind of freak me out. I'm like, guys, go outside and play. Remember the parents are like, go outside and play, go outside and play. Like I kind of, the idea of my kids being stuck in the house with VR headsets, and maybe that's an exaggeration, that this just doesn't sit well with me. But anyhow, so yeah, I think very interesting points by and I forget his name, B-Money, but your CEO that you like, that he's very outspoken. What's his name again? Not Lars.
Zelnick.
Thank you, sir. Very interesting points. But definitely, I think some really good points on his behalf, especially I think when it comes to the consumption of gaming media versus things like Netflix. But
and real quick, everyone, the other thing that kind of counteracts like Game Pass and stuff like that is just the free to play market. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many like huge free to play games that
Warzone
people play. Yeah, Warzone, the Fortnites, the Apex Legends, things like that. To where like
even Halo.
Yeah, even
Halo. Yeah, Halo. Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah,
Halo's
going that way. You know what I mean? So it's like there's only so many games you can play, and if you are consumed by that content, you know what I mean, a lot of the other stuff is, just doesn't matter to you. Like my kids don't play many like games that they have to download besides like the free to play stuff. So my oldest son plays a lot of Fortnite. My other son plays Apex Legends mostly, and they've been playing Splitgate. But they mostly just play free to play games. You know what I mean? Like I try to get them to play like other stuff, and they play the stuff that their friends play, and all of them are playing Warzone, stuff like that. So all the other games, like if it's something that they're interested in, like Spider-Man or something like that, they'll play that for a while, but then they go right back to that stuff.
Yeah, that's a great point, B.
Yeah, for me, like I think it depends on the player. You know what I mean? Like I get so much crazy value out of it because I do play a lot of that stuff, right? But I'm kind of the exception, right? Like we're in this community, we're like all hardcore gamers here that play a lot of different games, and we for me, I take like full advantage of it. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of people that are just play Call of Duty and Madden, and they don't really care about anything else. You know what I mean? For them, it's not going to bring any value. So it just depends on the type of person you are. Like I played Omno yesterday because it was in GamePass. I wouldn't have ever went out and bought that game, right? So I think the value is going to get even better though as we see these Xbox first party exclusives start hitting. Yeah. Right, because we just had Flight Sim, which is pretty crazy that it's on console to begin with, but we get that, right? We also got the Ascent just hit, then we're having Forza Horizon 5. There's a lot of hype around that game right now, right? And also Halo Infinite campaign is going to hit this year. We have Hades hitting this month. Psychonauts 2 is hitting this month. There's a lot of stuff coming that has more wide appeal that is hitting day one. And I think that's where it's going to get some of the people that are more necessarily not the super hardcore gamers, but people that are looking for certain experiences, right? So that's where it has a value. Do I buy this or do I play it on Game Pass, beat it, and try some other stuff out for the month, right? So it just depends on the person.
Yeah. Let me grab the super chat real quick. That's a great point, Matt. Grab the super chat from NeoWise with the $5 super chat. Says, if Xbox was a company with Sony finance, you think they would still go in on Game Pass?
They couldn't afford it.
Yeah. There'll be no way they could do the Game Pass model the way it's set up. You have to be able to eat a lot of upfront costs for the potential of a long-term massive platform that gives you reoccurring revenue consistently on a monthly basis, and that's something that takes years to get realized. And I don't think that if they had Sony's financials, that would be possible for them. They wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Real quick before I get to the next topic, I want to introduce Gaming Forte. What's up, Forte?
Yo, what's up? Just walked in the house. What's going on?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going, man. Listening to you guys for the last hour of look at these hot takes up in here, man. We got some hot takes up in here. People talking about SSDs and screws and all this other stuff,
we haven't got to that.
Well, I know you haven't talked about that. I'm preemptively talking about it because I know that BRAP's
we're gonna get into that now. That's gonna be fun. That could be some debates.
Good to see the Chicago Bulls still being repped in this world. One of the best, teams of all time.
That's right.
I don't know about all time, but
that's not even debatable, sir.
Yeah, it's definitely all time. Enrique, stop it.
I know. I'm trying to get B
six championships. Come on, man.
Yeah, six championships. And what? How many years was it again? 8?
8 years. Yeah.
I probably would have gave it to the Warriors if they would have finished the fight, but they didn't.
They would have had 8 championships in 8 years if Jordan didn't go play baseball.
I would agree with that 100%. Yeah.
That's all Krause's fault.
Yeah, and by the way, B Money. By the way, I did pre-order the NBA 2K22.
I need to see a receipt of that, sir.
Yeah, I gotta see some evidence, man.
I gotta see a receipt of that.
All right, with the Dirk.
It doesn't matter that you pre-ordered it. What matters is whether you're gonna play B Money or not.
Look,
you can buy the game, and it can be sitting in plastic. You can even play the game, But whenever B Money comes online, you log off. That's a problem. You're supposed to be playing this man.
I gotta ask Forte a question though. Like, if 2K sends like Dirk cutouts for 2K, like for a display, you gotta let me know.
Oh man, I missed those cutouts. Remember they used to send them every year? They haven't done that in the last couple of years. 2K cutting their money back. I guess they ain't making enough money, so those cutouts
I guess not,
cost too much.
Man, I want one of those cutouts, dude.
Yeah, I have 2 of them.
That is too funny. Yeah. So Forte, man, I'm glad you're here with us, man. Great segue, by the way, Forte. Mm-hmm. With the whole thing with Screwdriver. So, yeah. So look, by the way, I was actually on the Iron Lords podcast this past Sunday. Great show.
That was hilarious, by the way. That was a hilarious show.
Oh my God. When King said, make sure you put some lotion, and he whipped out the Avivo lotion, hand lotion, that I was in tears. And it was great seeing Dustin from Last Stand Media. Dustin was on there, and he was like,
Dustin, man, y'all made that man sit through that 5-hour love.
Hey, but Dustin, let me tell you, Dustin was he was
saucy.
He was saucy. I loved it. He brought a lot of sauce to the panel. That was a great show, though. But they talked about this on the Iron Lords podcast, and just my 2 cents quickly. I mean, I think I could agree with the messaging and things with Sony kind of talked about or unveiled this SSD beta, but I also don't think per se the legalese, if you will, and some of the verbiage. I don't think it's uncommon. It's not really uncommon from any other beta you probably participated in. If you've been on the Xbox preview program, there's verbiage similar to that. And any other beta that I've been a part of, there's those things. Hey, you at your own risk type thing. But the Forte, those things are, I mean, that's legalese. I mean, the companies.
Oh, no, I'm not disagreeing with the whole it's in beta thing, but my whole, like the stuff that you see for Xbox and most companies, stuff that goes in beta is stuff that they literally been cooking up. No one really knew they were doing it. And then they just say, oh, this is going to beta. Hey, we want our insiders to check this out. And if you do it, your system could be at risk. I can understand that. But when you're talking about something that literally has been talked about for almost a calendar year and it still isn't functional in your system, and you throw it in a beta, like it shouldn't even be like at that point, it shouldn't even be in the selling point of the system at that point, because it wasn't even available technically at that point.
Do you remember that video of how to take apart the PS5 and like, oh, this is where you put the
SSD drive, that's going to be available, huh?
That was before they released the console.
Like a long time before they released the console. So I agree. I do agree with you. I don't think that there's a difference between people, their idea of like, oh, this is hard to do. People are confused. I mean, look, man, it's easy. Just take a screwdriver and screw the thing in. I don't think that's the problem. I just think the whole beta thing and giving them a pass on saying like, oh, this is something that, is in beta, but okay, the whole system's technically been in beta if that's the case.
Well, I don't agree with that. I don't think the whole system's in beta. I think,
but if you're looking,
let me just
that it's in beta. Let me talked about before they released.
Look, I don't disagree with the fact that they did.
Had to come up here and turn the heat up on the frog a little bit.
Yeah, look, I know
Enrique a little bit today, y'all.
No, look, I don't let me put up that.
Go ahead. You want to hug me too?
No, you want me to put up the
Go ahead, do it.
I'm not going to do it.
Wait.
Slow-mo said don't do it. He said
Slow-mo ain't said nothing. Slow-mo be the first person to say do it.
No, he said not to today, actually. No, look, I think part of this though goes back to the messaging that really hasn't been probably the messaging could be better, I think, with Sony. And I've said that before with other things that they've done this generation. And I say that especially now because I think the one interesting thing that I haven't seen talked about a lot on other shows and even with like the gaming media is that because I've heard people say, well, I thought Sony was supposed to test this. Well, come to find out, they actually did test it. Insomniac's chief technology officer, Mike Fitzgerald, actually revealed that the studio had been running tests with N.2 SSDs for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And he's saying the results are very impressive.
he claims that it's pretty much indistinguishable from the internal SSD. So, if you missed his tweet, you probably wouldn't have known this, that Sony was actually testing this internally, and that in fact that, hey, based on Insomniac and some of the stuff they were testing in terms of benchmarking it across different games, and more specifically Ratchet and Clank, that things are looking really good, that the performance is indistinguishable. See, I think that's a missed opportunity for Sony to say, hey, by the way, guys and girls, yeah, this isn't beta, but hey, our Insomniac Studios, Ratchet and Clank could be a great opportunity to kind of plug Ratchet and Clank, and because Ratchet and Clank is one of those games they talked about that took advantage of the internal SSD with the what is it, when you go through the portal, whatever it's called, the new worlds instantly load in, whatever. That could have been an opportunity. I thought it's a missed opportunity for Sony to talk about that and say, hey, yes, in fact, we have been testing like we talked about, and here's an example of a game that takes advantage of our internal SSD on the PlayStation 5, but also does well with the internal SSDs that Insomniac has tested. They didn't do that, like, at least not that I'm aware of. And the only reason I know about this is because somebody was in a show on Friday on Crossfire, and the live chat said, oh, by the way, did you guys see what Insomniac said about the SSDs? And I'm like, oh, I didn't see that. So I think that's a missed opportunity right there for Sony, where they could have talked about these things and said, hey, you know what, guys, here's the deal. And they didn't do that. And I think that's kind of why. And so I get the messaging part, but I don't think it's as big as some people have been making it out to be with the SSD stuff with PlayStation 5. I think at the end of the day, and I've heard people say, oh, it's crazy, you got to unscrew you got to use a screwdriver, it's crazy. I'm like, it really isn't. And I've heard people say, hey, what about the casual consumer base? And to that I will say, given the price points of both of these storage solutions of both consoles coming in at what? What's the Xbox one? 200 and some change, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the M.2 SSDs for the PS5 with the heatsink. You're looking at, for 500 gigs, you're probably looking at about 160, 170, and they go north of that. You get 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes. You're getting close to well past the actual retail price of the PlayStation 5.
Depends on where you buy it from.
Yeah, but I think given the price point of these storage, I mean, these aren't like casual consumer prices. These are prices that enthusiasts like myself, like I heard GB Money, you said, well, I'm going to go out and get NVMe M.2 for your PlayStation 5, right? Yeah. And if I know you're probably gonna get like the 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte version, right?
I'm getting a 4 terabyte, man.
4 terabyte. But see, but you were an enthusiast. That's what I'm saying. These price points at $200, most casual people,
yeah, dude,
go out and spend $200 on devices.
So hear me out though, like, because all right, so this generation, the PS5 has less space than the PS4 Pro came out with, right? So that's already one obstacle. Second obstacle is the games are bigger than they were before. So you're talking about, okay, so imagine the casual consumer. Okay, I'm going to buy Call of Duty. I'm going to get Madden. I'm going to get God of War, Horizon Forbidden West. I filled up my hard drive. Okay. Another game comes out. That's something 2K. Let's say 2K comes out, 100 gigs, easy, right? I don't want to uninstall one of these other games that I play often, right? So as these games, these big games, Battlefield, I didn't even say Battlefield, COD, NBA 2K, Madden, Call of Duty, okay? That fills up the hard drive. So if something else comes out, like, that can be a problem for the 12-year-old kid that got his PS5, right? That he's super excited. Those are the games that he likes. Now I get a new game for Christmas. Okay. What do? I don't want to uninstall NBA. Mm-hmm. I don't want to uninstall Madden. I don't want to uninstall Call of Duty. I don't want to uninstall Battlefield. Mom, Dad, I don't have any space on my PS5. Okay. So Mom, Dad, go to the store. Hey, I need to get some storage for my son's PlayStation because he's already out of storage. He only has 5 games on there, 6 games, right? But I need more storage. And they're like, okay, We don't have anything that I'm using Pong's reference because he uses this. Let's go over to the computer section and let's give you an M.2. They're like, what? What's that? Well, it's over here. Let's say you have to have this minimum spec. So, and it also has to have a heat sink on it. So you want to make sure you have like these 3 to choose from. How much is it? Oh, this one that we have in stock is $200 for a terabyte. It's like, oh, okay. I got to get that. And you get home, you got to figure out somebody's never dealt with even touching a console before, has to take off a flap, go in there and unscrew. It's intimidating for a lot of people that never mess with tech. Right? Like never mess with stuff. Me, I can do it. I don't like messing with it, but I can do it. So it's just, you got to put yourself in like those situations. Right. So I'm not saying it's like a huge deal, but it wasn't really well thought out. And it's probably the only solution when they decided to put that SSD in the PS5 to begin with. So maybe you want to backtrack and say, maybe that wasn't the wisest decision, because how many games are actually even going to utilize that to the fullest extent, right? Because multiplats aren't going to take advantage of it. PS5 games that are going to go on PC aren't going to take advantage of it. The only ones, there's going to be a handful that are going to fully take advantage of that. So they handicapped themselves when they made that decision. And this is what we're left with. So it is what it is, but it's just not as good a decision as forward thinking as they did with the Xbox thing, making it easy to use for the consumer, right?
Well, I thought the whole reason why we transitioned to the SSD was because of technology going forward, like all the engines that the developers.
Yeah, but you don't have to do like the 7700 like write speeds. Like PCs most of them aren't going to have that for years. Right. So any games that are coming out on PC are not going to meet those requirements. Right. So maybe the next iteration should have maybe went that direction, but they kind of like as Pong again, I'm saying using his stuff, they kind of out engineered themselves with some of that stuff. Right. Like it is very forward thinking, but maybe a little too forward with where tech is right now, as far as being able to have useful accessories and hardware.
Well, I don't think that they were thinking of other platforms when they were producing the system like they are now. I think that thought process changed when they saw the dynamic with Microsoft change, and I'm actually starting to get a little bit of a footprint when it came to putting their games on other platforms and stuff. And then with the new leadership at Sony, I think that kind of changed the scenario too. So they were probably thinking of a closed ecosystem with it all together and not really dealing with the PC side of it, because I do agree. It's kind of like the PS3 situation when it came to like the sale. They were like, we really thought of this really pushing ingenuity forward, but it might be something that I don't think it's going to be as bad as that, because they can't even make PS3 games and bring them forward right now. Mm-hmm. So it's not even going to be as bad as that, because MEMEs, those are going to scale. It just comes down to mass production of those on the PC level, where you could really see that take advantage of. At some point, that will happen, because that stuff will get better. But I just look at it, and it always comes back to, at least 3 to 4 times a week, I got somebody walking in the store a lucky person that does have a PlayStation 5 looking for this hard drive. And they say, well, I can't just buy the one that plugs into the back of the system. Yeah, if you want to just play your PlayStation 4 games off of it, but if you want to play these PS5 games, you got to get the internal one. And up until that point, they still didn't have anything on the market for people to buy. And I will say, we were talking about the whole screw thing. There's a reason, I ain't heard nobody talk about this, but there's a reason that when Sony's doing a redesign of that PlayStation, the Slim of the digital one, that they literally are putting a thumb screw on the bottom of the stand. They're replacing it instead of having the one that you have to screw in with a screwdriver, because that was a big thing. People was like, oh, you got to have a screwdriver to screw the scan on. Well, guess what Sony's doing in that patent? They're actually putting a thumb screw in there where you don't even have to have a screwdriver anymore. You just screw it on with the thumb screw now. So it's a little something that I saw, those little things that nobody's really been talking about. So I don't think it's a big deal. It's just one more barrier of entry for people that don't normally do stuff like this. And I do, and like you say, people like we're the consumer when it comes to like all of this high end stuff, when it comes to like hard drives and stuff like that. But I think they kind of set an expectation that you want to have more space with your systems, especially since last generation. Most people I know didn't just have, just the system plugged up. A lot of people were going out buying hard drives, 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte hard drives for their system. So they know that those exist. Now they're just waiting for what's going to be available on the PS5. And especially if they're so used to having extra space, when they notice they don't have it, the price is going to be an intimidation point. But guess what? Like Mav just said, the people that are buying these aren't them. Like we'll buy our own, but I get a lot of moms and dads like, oh, I need a hard drive for my kid because, just like most parents, they just, buy the stuff for their kids and say, okay, here you go. And, go off into your room and keep playing the game and stuff because they don't want to be dealing with it. They don't want to be bothered with that. And I kind of get that sentiment because it happens and I see it all the time. But ultimately, it's just the situation that they put themselves in. And it'll rectify itself sooner or later. I just don't know when.
I don't look at it as a bad thing, though.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. Yeah,
people at least it's expandable.
People need to educate. Yeah, people need to educate themselves.
True.
This is high level technology. It's stuff that takes years of R&D before it comes out. If you're going to be invested in a console, what's wrong with learning how to put a damn SSD in there? It's not that hard. Take the time to educate yourself. If you're going to be a consumer and buy something, at least know what you're buying and know what you're getting into.
Yeah. And I think a 12-year-old these days too is probably savvy enough. I have a 12-year-old and he knows how to do more shit on a computer than I do. He watches YouTube. So right. I think that, you may have parents that a lot of this stuff's probably intimidating to them, but if it's a 12-year-old and they play a lot of video games, I'm probably willing to bet that they probably have some inclination, I mean, I go back to the OG Xbox, and I learned how to do networking because I really wanted to play Halo multiplayer on Xbox Connect. I don't know if you remember that, B-Money.
Yep.
XBC, GameSpy. I think those were the two. They were basically would allow you to create like a virtual LAN party before there was Xbox Live. I bought a router and I figured it out, But I also think that, I get your point, Mav, that there's going to be some people that want Madden and God, Call of Duty is just bad in terms of, space. But I think some people are probably like, what, they got a decision to make too. I don't think it's a zero-sum game where people are going to be, I want to keep all these games. I think some people may have to make a tough choice. Like, Slow-Mo says, I don't know if you're there, Slow-Mo. Someone talks about delete your games.
Yeah, I want to know what someone got to say about this.
I
want to know. B Money say he buying a 4 terabyte NVMe. I need to know what you think of this, sir.
He said what?
He buying a 4 terabyte.
He's buying
NVMe.
4 terabyte.
What do you think about this, sir?
B. First of all, B.
I
don't know how many games B has.
I like how B's facial expression ain't changed one bit.
B plays way too much 2K for him to need a 4 terabyte SSD. Look, this is all you gotta do, B. This is all you gotta do, right? When you decide to stop playing 2K long enough to play something else, right? Install it, beat it, uninstall it. That's all you gotta do. No one needs 4 terabytes of anything.
I got an 8 terabyte on my PS4, man.
Why? So that's external, right? That's like
that's external. Yeah, I got 2 terabytes internal. I snatched out the out of my PlayStation 4 Pro. I had it came with a 1 terabyte. Snatched it out, put a 2 terabyte in, and then I got an 8 terabyte external.
Jeez, man.
Why do you? This man got a petabyte.
Look, it is.
He's got Skynet in his house.
It is B's money, and we all know B gonna do with his money what B want to do. I am just saying, B, that all you gotta do is delete your games, uninstall the game, and you're good. You're good. Even if you have a bad internet connection, let's say you got like just terrible internet wherever you are, right? You could just I get storing it at that point, right? But you can store it on a hard drive. and then just move it to the internal when you want to actually play it, and then move it back and forth. It's I never see the need for such storage. Me personally, on my PC, I have a 1 terabyte NVMe M.2 SSD, and I thought about, because I was seeing how I had games installed, and then I wanted to play something else, and I didn't have space. I thought about, why don't I just buy another one, and just because I had another M.2 slot available.
Yeah, I do
on
too.
my motherboard, and I said, why don't I just buy another one, and then maybe get a 2 terabyte. Now I got 3 total. And I just said, or you know what, Slow-Mo? Why don't you stop being lazy and finish some of these games that are installed? And guess what I did? I went and finished the games that I was installed, and lo and behold, last year I beat 41 games.
Yeah,
and now I'm like,
I will
you know
admit, I need to finish some games. I will admit.
There we go.
But you know what happens, man? I'll start playing something, and then something else big will come out.
Backlog.
And then that game I was playing goes in the backlog, man.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm dealing with it a little bit now. I got Death's Door I started. I got the Ascent I started, and I haven't finished them yet. But this is what I did. I made the concerted effort. You know, I was really enjoying Scarlet Nexus. Other stuff came out. I tried it out at launch, but I need to finish Scarlet Nexus so I can uninstall it. So I beat Yuito's story. I'm going through Kasani's story. I'm doing New Game Plus, so I keep my levels, and so I'm going through it faster because she's OP. But I'm doing it because I want to see her side of the story. But once that's done, uninstalled, I'm good to go. I got some space. Look, like I said, I got 1 terabyte. I still got like 150 gigs free in my 1 terabyte because I get through my games, and I do have some that like stay installed, like Master Chief Collection stays installed, Splitgate.
I'm sure
Rogue
Mass
Company
Effect's on there.
Oh yeah, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is installed. You know, it stays installed. Warframe is installed, but like I got them in categories on my desktop.
Splitgate. He uninstalled that crap.
Okay, apparently Forte
has something in his ears. I'm just messing with you.
No, you're not.
I was just playing Splitgate earlier today. I was messing with you. I was playing Splitgate earlier today. It was fun.
No, you said I uninstalled it, and I actually said that I had it was one of my games that stayed installed.
I was just messing with you.
No,
bro.
you weren't. You always do this when you get caught, and then you try to act like
he really does, Slow-Mo.
I literally just threw something out there just to see what was sticking. You just fall for it every time.
No, every time he gets caught capping and not knowing what the hell he's talking about. He always goes, I did that on purpose.
Slow-Mo. This isn't the show manifest. I ain't an A2-8er. I can't read people's minds and see what's going on. I just threw a scenario out there.
Splitgate stays installed. Then you
I just threw
5 seconds later say,
and see
well,
what
you notice he didn't say Splitgate.
I know.
Literally everyone heard, all of us on the panel and the 130 people in the chat heard me say Splitgate except for you.
I have a question.
I heard he was eating.
All right, let's Slow-Mo finish his point there, Forte.
Is it just
no? Can I finish my point?
Forte,
or is he going to go crazy about something that I literally said?
Forte,
knows that he said it.
Let Slow-Mo finish his point, man.
Go ahead, Slow-Mo. Breathe, sir. Breathe.
You
Hold your chest. I don't want you to have a heart attack on the show.
You know what? Anyway, look, delete your games the way I delete Forte's words out of my mind. That's what you guys need to do out there. Okay,
they live there quite a bit.
Just delete your games, and you will notice that you're enjoying, like you're finishing the games that you're interested in, or you make the decision. You look at a game and you're just like, yo, why I buy that? Yeah, because it was on sale, and I was like, oh, that's on sale, and you bought it. And if you really cared about it, you would have got it at launch, but you don't. And so it's just sitting there taking up space on your hard drive or SSD, and you're just like, you know what? I'm never going to play this. Just uninstall it.
Yeah, I think a lot of games is just on sale. Like, I'll get to it. I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, we are digital hoarders. That's what we are. We're digital hoarders. Like we are the digital versions of the people whose homes be having like newspapers from 1986. Just sitting around, magazines from the 70s. Like this is us, but as gamers, because we just can't let go of stuff.
Dude, I'll buy a game when it's on sale for like ridiculous price, and I'll like cancel the installation immediately. I just want to. I want to buy it because it's on sale. I don't even want it on the hard drive right now. I just need to have it. You know, Mav has
the right idea. Yeah, see, we all have that little. It's like that little dopamine hit when you see something on sale and you buy it. Yeah. Mav has that. But then he makes the great choice to say, I'm not going to play this.
I'll play it later.
I'm not installing that. Stop the installation. You can just stay in the library.
If you want to be able to save space on your system and not worry about download speeds, do this. Buy physical copies and let them sit on disk. And then you don't have to worry about download speeds and internet sizes and stuff like that. Put the disk in and it installs back that way. You don't have to worry about download speeds. So just saying.
Yeah, I think Ratchet is the first physical game I bought in a while.
There's 111 gigs sitting right here. Yeah, that's not on my PlayStation.
I hear you, man. I hear that. Yeah, I hear that. It's great to see your beautiful face there, Forte.
Hey, I know. I was trying to say. I just wanted to make that point. I'm going to get a haircut tomorrow. I need to gotta look good for the weekend.
Is that Brady behind you? Who?
Yes, it's Brady. Don't get
get him started.
Don't get him started.
There we go.
Okay. Yes. I get a Patriot shirt to go with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. You know.
All right. Well, look. On that note,
we rep here.
Oh boy. All right. On that note,
my wife the funny thing is, my wife, when she bought me that, she bought it for Christmas. She was like. She wanted to ask me, she was like, should I buy him a Patriot one of Tom Brady or a Buccaneers one? And she made the right decision. I was like, I love Tom Brady, but if you don't buy the Patriot one, we got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. You represent, man. That's all good.
All right. Well, look, it's 12 past 11 o'clock here, Eastern time. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show. But want to say to everyone in the live chat, thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. Appreciate the support as always. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so you are alerted when we go live. I think this Sunday I'm doing a BRAP rant with David Jaffe, but I will keep you all posted on that. Yeah, Jaffe we haven't had Jaffe on in.
You gonna play a game while you do?
No, I don't play video games. Why?
Oh, well, we know you don't play video games.
No, I don't play video games while I podcast.
Breaking news.
I don't play video games while I podcast.
He said, no, man, I don't play video games.
No, I don't play video games while I podcast.
Enrique said, no, I don't play video games. And it was just silence after that.
No,
I was waiting for the rest of the sentence to come out.
You know what, Forte? Yeah. Yeah, so I think so I'll just keep an eye on Twitter, BRAP_podcast. I'll have an update probably this weekend for sure, but he may be joining us this Sunday for a BRAP rant. But want to give a big shout out to our special guest, Mav, the one, the only Mav, who is strong with the force. Mav, it was great having you all, man. There it is, right? It was great having you all, man. Really appreciate it. And let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, dude, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for asking me to be here. It's a pleasure. Awesome hanging out with Slow-Mo and Forte and B Money. The first time we've got to hang out in a podcast together, so that was awesome too, man. But guys, you can find me on Twitter if you care to. At Fun Speculation, also on YouTube, Fun Speculation. I have a show on Friday nights. It's called the Xbox Ultimate Podcast. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern. We have a big crew there where we have a lot of fun. And this week we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary on the show.
Congrats.
So
nice. Congrats, man.
Come by, check that out. Thanks, man. And also coming back in a few weeks on Wednesday nights, we have a Marvel, DC movie, TV show, comic book, and more show called Fun Pop, and so that's Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then occasionally on Saturdays, me and my wife do this fun thing where we talk about just whatever, food and all that stuff, and that's called the Mad and Fancy Show. That's at 6 p.m. and always streaming. So you guys come and check out the channel. You'll see me playing something. I play PlayStation now that I finally got my PS5. I play my Series X all the time. And then I also have a Switch. I'll play some Nintendo rarely. But I appreciate you guys.
It was like 1 a.m. one time, and I was just like, wait, is he streaming?
Mav don't sleep.
I just jumped in and was like,
Mav,
hey, what's up?
I think I catch you streaming like when I'm working sometimes through the day. I'm like, oh, Mav's streaming, cool.
Mav don't go to sleep.
Yeah, I like to, dude. I play games, and so here's the thing. I'm streaming. You guys don't even know, but I'm like working while I'm streaming. Because I'll be playing a game, then like I'll have my PC up, and I'm just like, okay, send the email real quick, respond to a message, But yeah, I just love the game, 100%.
Awesome,
and streams are fun, man. People come in to hang out in the chat, just shoot the shit with you while you're playing whatever. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, they saw you do a water landing in Flight Sim.
Yeah, that water landing. I'm telling you.
I was like, what is there asphalt into that water?
I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, that seemed like it, man. Yeah, that was a fun stream actually. That was
definitely. You were like, I think you were the first one of the major people in the Xbox community to stream that. Because I looked in, I was like, man, I think 300 people in here.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a big stream. Yeah, so that was
I guess people want to see, a game that supposedly is just a sim.
Oh, yeah, God. Dude, I had so much fun playing that. Like earlier in the stream, I pulled off this like Indiana Jones move where like I was gonna land, and I was like, oh crap, I'm not gonna make it. So like, I'm like, pull up, and then there's a building. So like I'm trying to pull up and like clear the building, and it's just like barely my wheels like scrape it. It was a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, we saw that. Well, I saw that.
Yeah,
I was watching.
Well, Mav,
part of that stream.
Yeah, Mav, seriously, man, it was great having you on again, man. We're gonna get you back on again, brother.
Yeah,
and everyone, please check out Fun Speculation on YouTube and give Mav a follow on Twitter as well. And then we got my man B Money 101. B, yes, I have pre-ordered NBA 2K22.
We playing day one, man. Locked in. Day one. I guess everybody we'll have to stream. We streaming day one.
Yeah, I got it for PS5. Did you get it for which? What did you get it for?
I get it for.
You got it for whatever console you got it for. Whatever
you at, man.
You got it.
All right, I got it for the ColecoVision. The what? The Ouya? Yeah, B, I got it for the Ouya.
Hey, I'll find the Ouya. I'll find one.
Got it for the Atari Jaguar.
I got one I can loan you.
Oh my god, yeah, but not be bad. It's we'll play day one, man. Just we got the backlog's been real. You know how it is, man. But
one time, man.
Ain't no backlog.
Yeah, but
you don't play games.
I do play games, not on podcasts, sir.
How you got a backlog if you don't play
games? All right, let everyone know they can find you, man.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere. Same name, B Money 101. I'm actually working on something that will probably be coming in the next few weeks. So.
Oh really, man?
Yeah. I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
When I'm ready to go ahead and debut it, but same name everywhere. B Money 101. Right now I'm playing Death Store. Really loving that game.
Good game.
Yeah. Awesome game.
Yeah.
Loving that game. So, great show, fellas. Mav, appreciate you coming through, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also got my man, the stunning Gaming Forte. Forte, we love you, man. You're the big teddy bear, man. We just want to hug you.
The big teddy bear. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
What's going on, man? Yeah.
That voice.
The voice. Oh, I got it. Oh, you want the reflection? Is that why?
Yeah.
When we get a little closer to the mic, I got you. But no, man, this great show. Was listening to you guys early today. Shout out to Matt for coming through and showing love and support to the show. Always love the content you do on your channel and stuff too, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. Love the direction you're going in. B, man, you got me excited. Got me excited for what you about to show. We've been talking for a while, man. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know I'm going to be happy when I hear what it is. And BRAP, as always, great show. Slow-mo.
Thank you, man.
We'll talk more tomorrow on DPS Podcast on my channel at 9 p.m.
We got a special guest, too.
We will be joined by none other than Lord the Lord himself, Gaming Addict. He will be joining us to talk about a lot of the stuff. So
cool.
Make sure you guys come through and check that out. And you guys have a great gaming weekend.
Awesome. Thank you, Forte. And then we got, last but not least, we got Slow-Mo Backslap. Slow-Mo, man, always a pleasure. Look forward to you guys hearing you guys on DPS next or tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time as usual. Great show, guys. Mav, great the podcast with you once again. And before I go, I want to give a little gaming recommendation real quick. If you're into narrative games, I played Last Stop, which is actually in GamePass right now. Pretty good game, pretty good story. Not too bad at all. This is very long either. Probably took me about maybe a total of like 5-6 hours to complete. So it was pretty cool. Check that out if you're into those kind of games. And let's see what else. I may be streaming tomorrow or Friday. I haven't decided whether it's gonna be on YouTube or Twitch yet, but 2 betas back to back right now are launching. One is X Defiant and the other one is
are we gonna play that
for Blood? I'm trying to play both of them. Back for Blood,
tomorrow, right?
I think. Yes.
Yeah.
I got my
beta stream
yesterday.
Back for Blood. X Defiant, I can't even let my kids be in the room while I'm playing.
That's crazy.
You gotta close the blinds,
close the curtains.
You gotta be inside a box, man.
Did you get PC invite?
Yeah, I got a PC. Yeah, so
I got a PC
I'll be playing X Defiant, but I'll probably be streaming Back for Blood. Haven't quite figured out when yet because I can't even install it on Steam yet. So I don't know what they doing about that. Turtle Rock need to get it together, but look out for that soon. And I'm still working on a couple of videos. I'm kind of changing the format up on videos. I used to drop like 3 videos a week. Now I'm trying to get more into some long form, thought provoking kind of stuff. So look out for my first one of that. And once I can start to get those out, I'm going to try to target getting at least 1 out a week. That's going to be my target. So look out for that in the future. But outside of that, I hope you guys have a great night. And enjoy your games, man.
For the there's 100 people in here, and I know at least 25 of y'all got Amazon Prime. Go support my man Slow-Mo over there on Twitch. It don't cost you anything. If you ain't using that Amazon Prime subscription for anything on somebody over there, go sub to that man channel over there. It's free. They basically giving it to you. Might as well use it because Slow-Mo does a really good job over there on his streams, and I know he's trying to grow that platform just as much as YouTube too.
Thank you, Forte. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a very nice plug, Forte.
Wait. Are you following me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it the same name on Twitch? Is Slow-Mo Backslap?
Yeah. I try to keep everything uniform so that I'm easy to find. Makes things easier. Instead of being
I got yelled at for doing that years ago.
I'm like, hey, I'm Big Titty 405 on Twitch.
Oh boy!
Not
like that, Slow-Mo.
First of all, why?
Oh my God!
Second of all, why is your name different? Right? So no, I try to keep everything the same. I would have had the same name on PSN, but apparently, Sony does not like the words backslap together, so I had to put underscores all through it. So.
Oh boy. Yeah. All right. Well, definitely check out DPS Podcast and check out Mav and at Fun Speculation on YouTube and their show Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time. By the way, Mav, it's funny when you guys are. Did I say is it 9 p.m. or 10 p.m.?
Yeah, it's 9.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So it's funny when you guys are podcasting and I'm still on Crossfire. I'm watching your show.
Same.
Nice,
while I'm doing Crossfire.
Same. I thought it was the only one.
Yeah. I'm like, they're live. So like if we're going over on Crossfire, I'm like watching it. I'm watching you guys at the same time. So
that's awesome to hear, man. This community is absolutely incredible. So many great shows. It's hard to be at all of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like you wish you could. Because there's so many great creators out there, including this show. So keep it up, dude. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And like I said, love what you guys are doing over there. Keep it up. And be money. I'm looking forward to what you have planned, man, because I know you've been talking about things behind the scenes with us, man. So looking forward to it, man. But
me too, man. This is gonna. I'm fairly excited because we were trying to nudge B Money in this direction for like over a year now. So this
some people don't know this, but I've said this. You like the OG of podcasting, man. Like,
of course,
you're part of TIG, And like you guys like had Phil Spencer on before anyone else had Phil Spencer on. You guys had Ken Lobb. You guys had who else? Jeff Keighley. I mean, Albert Pinello.
You reminded him of all the good old days.
I mean, you guys were you guys were like the trailblazers, man.
Listen, man, it's amazing. Man. Listen, man, if there's a guest that we can't get on, we know we send B money. We can get that
money,
guest on. Send B money and his plugs. We gonna
He's
get
the closer.
He's the closer.
Send him to the $1 million meeting. We gonna get that deal.
Meeting, yeah.
We gonna get that deal.
But now, everyone, thank you again, everyone again in the live chat, and to our guests this evening. Big shout out to our man Eric Jackson. Couldn't be here with us tonight. EJ, hope you're doing well, sir. And we'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Although, again, may have Jaffe on this Sunday on BRAP. But again, everyone, enjoy video games. Don't any pay attention to Forte. He likes to stir the pot. On that note, we are out.
You want to go play games?
Peace.